The solar system consists of a central star and the bodies that orbit it. These bodies include 8 planets and their more than 160 known moons, dwarf planets, Kuiper belt objects, asteroids, comets, and meteorites. The solar system also contains interplanetary gas and dust. The planets fall into two groups. Four small rocky planets near the Sun and four planets further out, the giants. Between the rocky planets and giants is the asteroid belt, which contains thousands of chunks of rock orbiting the Sun. Beyond Neptune is the Kuiper belt and more distant the Oort cloud. Most of the bodies in the planetary part of the solar system move around the Sun in elliptical orbits located in a thin disk around the Sun's equator. All the planets orbit the Sun in the same direction. And all but Venus and Uranus also spin about their axes in this direction. Moons also spin as they in turn orbit their planets. The entire solar system orbits the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. The Sun is the star at the center of the solar system. It is about 5 billion years old and will continue to shine as it does now for about another 5 billion years. The Sun is a yellow main sequence star about 1.4 million kilometers in diameter. It consists almost entirely of hydrogen and helium. In the Sun's core, hydrogen is converted to helium by nuclear fusion, releasing energy in the process. The energy travels from the core through the radiative and convective zones to the photosphere, where it leaves the Sun in the form of heat and light. On the photosphere, there are often dark, relatively cool areas called sunspots, which usually appear in pairs or groups and are caused by the cooling effect of the magnetic field. Other types of solar activity are flares, which are usually associated with sunspots and prominences. Flares are sudden discharges of high energy radiation and atomic particles. Prominences are huge loops or filaments of gas extending into the solar atmosphere. Some last for hours, others for months. Beyond the photosphere is the chromosphere and the extremely rarefied corona, which extends millions of kilometers into space. Tiny particles that escape from the corona give rise to the solar wind, which streams through space at hundreds of kilometers per second. The chromosphere and corona can be seen from Earth when the sun is totally eclipsed by the moon. Mercury is the nearest planet to the sun, orbiting at an average distance of about 58 million kilometers. Because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, it moves faster than any other planet, traveling at an average speed of nearly 48 kilometers per second and completing an orbit in just under 88 days. Mercury is very small and rocky. Most of the surface has been heavily cratered by the impact of meteorites, although there are also smooth, sparsely cratered lava covered plains. The Calaris Basin is the largest crater, measuring about 1300 kilometers across. It is thought to have been formed when a 60-kilometer diameter asteroid hit the planet and is surrounded by concentric rings of mountains thrown up by the impact. The Earth is the third of the 8 planets that orbits the Sun. It is the largest and densest rocky planet and the only one known to support life. About 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by water. Which is not found in liquid form on the surface of any other planet. There are 4 main layers: the inner core, the outer core, the mantle, and the crust. At the heart of the planet, the solid inner core has a temperature of about 6600 degrees Celsius. The heat from this inner core causes material in the molten outer core and mantle to circulate in convection currents. It is thought that these convection currents generate the Earth's magnetic field, which extends into space as the magnetosphere. The Earth's atmosphere helps screen out some of the harmful radiations from the sun stops most meteorites from reaching the planet's surface and traps enough heat to prevent extremes of cold. The Earth has one natural satellite, the Moon, which is thought to have formed when a huge asteroid impacted Earth in the distant past. Mars, known as the Red Planet, is the fourth planet from the Sun and the outermost rocky planet. In the 19th century, astronomers first observed what were thought to be signs of life on Mars. These signs included apparent canal-like lines on the surface and dark patches that were thought to be vegetation. It is now known that the canals are an optical illusion and the dark patches are areas where the red dust that covers most of the planet has been blown away. The fine dust particles are often wiped up by winds into dust storms that occasionally obscure almost all the surface. Residual fine dust in the atmosphere gives the Martian sky a pinkish hue. Jupiter is the fifth planet from the Sun and the innermost of the four giant planets. It is the largest and the most massive planet with a diameter about 11 times that of the Earth and a mass about 2.5 times the combined mass of the 7 other planets. Jupiter is thought to have a small rocky core surrounded by an inner mantle of metallic hydrogen. Outside the inner mantle is an outer mantle of liquid hydrogen and helium that merges into the gaseous atmosphere. Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun. It is a gas giant almost as big as Jupiter, with an equatorial diameter of about 120,500 kilometers. Saturn is thought to consist of a small core of rock and ice surrounded by an inner mantle of metallic hydrogen. Outside the inner mantle is an outer mantle of liquid hydrogen that merges into a gaseous atmosphere. Saturn's clouds form belts and zones similar to those on Jupiter, but obscured by overlying haze. Storms and eddies seen as red or white ovals occur in the clouds. Saturn has an extremely thin but wide system of rings that is less than 1 kilometer thick but extends outwards to about 420,000 kilometers from the planet's surface. The main rings comprise thousands of narrow ringlets, each made of icy rock lumps that range in size from tiny particles to chunks several meters across. In 2009, a huge dust ring was discovered 6 kilometers beyond the main system. Saturn has more than 60 known moons, some of which orbit inside the rings and are thought to exert a gravitational influence on the shapes of rings. Unusually, 7 of the moons are co-orbital. They share an orbit with another moon. Astronomers believe that such co-orbital moons may have originated from a single satellite that broke up. see the unbelievable Saturn for some time. After that, I will explain about Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun and the third largest with a diameter of about 51,000 kilometers. It is thought to consist of a dense mixture of different types of ice and gas around a solid core. Neptune is the furthest planet from the Sun at an average distance of about 4,500 million kilometers. Neptune is the smallest of the giant planets and is thought to consist of a small rocky core surrounded by a mixture of liquids and gases. The largest dwarf planets, which include Pluto, are almost round bodies. Pluto was the first object discovered beyond Neptune and was considered a planet until the dwarf planet category was introduced in 2006. It is made of rock and ice and is 2274 kilometers across. It has 3 non-moons. The largest Charon is about half Pluto's size and the two probably had a common origin. Now we can see the moons of Neptune. One is Triton and another one is Proteus. The moon is the Earth's only natural satellite. It is relatively large for a moon, with a diameter of about 3470 kilometers, just over a quarter that of the Earth. The moon takes the same time to rotate on its axis as it takes to orbit the Earth, and so the same side always faces us. However, the amount of the surface we can see the face of the moon depends on how much of the near side is in sunlight. The moon is dry and barren with negligible atmosphere and water. It consists mainly of solid rocks, although its core may contain molten rock or iron. The surface is dusty with highlands covered in craters caused by meteorites impacts and lowlands in which large craters have been filled by solidified lava to form dark areas called maria or seas. Maria occur mainly on the near side, which has a thinner crust than the far side. Many of the craters are rimmed by mountain ranges that form the crater walls and can be thousands of meters high. Thank you for watching this video, friends. Subscribe for more videos.